We'll now hear from Mary O'Connor of Faribault, Minnesota. Mary's regenerative path is through, if I have this correct, Patrick Donohue, James J. Donohue, John M. Donohue, James D. Donohue. I think I missed a beat there. The first or second of that series with my grandfather's cousin, I think. If I haven't made it perfectly clear what Mary's relationship is to you, I'm sure that she can, for she has accumulated a formidable amount of family information. Mary, would you like to speak to us, please?
You were correct. My father is James W. That's the D is already. D for Donohue. Oh. My writing is always hard to read. My one big fan. I am Mary Donohue O'Connor. I've heard this Donohue so much, I'm starting to talk like the rest of you. I am a Donohue. We have the A in our name. My parents are James W. and Eileen Fitzgerald Donohue. They live in Wakanda, South Dakota. My husband is Wayne O'Connor, and we have 4 children. We live in Faribault, Minnesota, which is about 50 miles south of Minneapolis. My great-great-grandfather was Patrick. He was a brother to Michael, the immigrant, so you know who I am. I became interested in tracing family history only about 7 years ago. Maybe it's because I moved away from here that I became the family historian. It's more like you appreciate your hometown after you leave. My great-great-grandfather, like I said, was Patrick Donohue. His oldest boy was James J. Donohue, who farmed in Johnson County, Iowa for more than 30 years. He sold his farm in 1908 and moved his family to southeast South Dakota in Clay County. Someone once asked him why it was that he left the wonderful farmland of Iowa for the drier climate in South Dakota. He laughed and said something to the fact that everybody was related. It sounds like something you were telling too, that everyone was related. Most of the information that I have to tell you today, I think, is on the level. It's none of this Blarney stuff that you might have been hearing. No. No offense, Bob. All of you should have a diagram that was passed out just before the program. I'm going to refer to this today. This explains briefly how all these families relate. On the right-hand side, Kathleen, would you bring me another one, please? The right-hand side is the oldest part of the family. So as you work from right to left, the left side is the youngest. This is based on the information that I have collected. If anyone can add to this chart with names and dates, you can just let me know. By now, everyone should know that there were 2 Donohue brothers, Michael and Patrick, and they married 2 sisters who were Ellen and Catherine Peters. It's a double relation. There were more members of each family, but I have only included the 4 main characters in this diagram. There were 6 children, at least 6 children in the Peters family, and at least 5 in the Donohue family. I only know bits and pieces about the Donohue brothers, with which I will share with you now. There is proof that they were both born in County West Meath in Ireland in the town of Casteltown. There are baptismal certificates to prove that. Of the 4 brothers, there was a John and a Michael and Joe. Joe was the other one. And Patrick. The 4 brothers, I think Patrick may have come first around 1849. He came to the West Indies and landed in New Orleans. around 1849. Eventually, I think all the brothers came after him, also the mother of these brothers. There's a rumor out that all the brothers may have been slave drivers working their way up from New Orleans to St. Louis where the slaves were sold. If anyone can tell me more about that, you can let me know. That is a rumor. I've heard it through 2 different sources. They lived a short time in Warren County, Illinois, in the area of Monmouth. That is where the mother supposedly died around 1853. Her name was Mary Cunningham. The only reason we know about her is because she is listed on an obituary of Michael Donohoe. In the obituary of your grandfather. Have you seen that? Okay, it says that he rode his horse 26 miles to Burlington, Iowa for a priest for his dying mother. And that's the only time she's mentioned, so we know that she did come to America. And I think the date was around 1853. Mike and Patrick Donohoe farmed very closely together in Johnson County, Iowa. Their farms are listed in Graham Township on an 1870 plat book map. Now, we're going to switch to the Peters side here. All the 6 Peters children were born, 6 or 7 were born in Castle Innie in County Terry. There are baptismal records to prove that. There's also a baptismal record there in Castle Innie of the mother of these girls, who was born Judith Maher in 1802. I don't know if it's Maher or Maher. In Iowa City, I think they call it Maher. Her parents are then listed on in the records there as John Maher and Bridget. We don't have a maiden name for Bridget yet. She would be the grandmother to Catherine and Ellen Peters. The mother of the Peters sisters came to America, and she is buried at the Nolan Settlement in Johnson County. She died in 1873, and for some reason her first name is listed as Johanna on the tombstone. This Peters family arrived in New York in 1853, and there might have been more than one family. They might have brought some cousins along. Now, getting back to the double relation, some of you Beecher Donohoe people could say that that's no big deal. Because on this chart, as someone mentioned before, I think Frank mentioned it, that there was a triple marriage in his family of 3 Beechers and 3 Donohoes. And that is shown in the middle of the chart with the 3 lines. I think that's pretty obvious. So that must be quite a job to keep those family lines straight. Just to tell you who they were, so you know where I'm at, Mary Beecher there and James A. Donohoe are the parents of Mary Lyons. Okay, now I want to point out to you that some of us here today, not all of us, but some of us are not just related on these 2 families of Peters and Donohoes. I think we are also related to the Welsh line, or Welch. Sometimes it's spelled Welch. Some of you may already know about this. If anyone knows anything more about the Welsh relation, I'd like to know about it. I'll briefly explain how I think it works. On your diagram, we have the grandparents of Mary Lyons listed as Johanna Welsh and John Beecher. Then above their names, we have a brother of Johanna Welsh Beecher, who was Mike Welsh. This Mike Welsh was my great-great-grandfather. As you can see, the daughter of Mike Welsh, on the top left corner of the paper, was Margaret Welsh, and she was a first cousin to all the Beecher children because her aunt was Johanna Welsh. Now, when you go home tonight, you can study this more and you'll figure it out. Well, it's complicated, that's why. Okay, now this Margaret Welsh married James J. Donohoe, the one who sold his farm in Iowa. He was the son of Patrick. James J. was a first cousin to all of Mike Donohoe's children. And this is basically an assumption on my part, but I think it's pretty true. I wouldn't be saying this today if I didn't think it was pretty proof. They were pretty positive. Now we can understand even better why James J. Donohoe laughed when he said he moved to South Dakota because everyone was related. Because we weren't just related to the Peters and the Donohoes, but some of us were related also to the Welsh line. I do have more details about these families in my notes at home. If anybody would be interested in learning more, my address is at the bottom of this page. I'd like to introduce my family a little bit. My father and mother are sitting up here at the front table, James and Eileen Donohoe, and my one brother and my 3 sisters are here in the middle. You guys want to raise your hand? And my brother-in-law. My husband is babysitting, I think. I also want to mention that there seems to be a trend in double and triple marriages in this family. And my grandfather, there was a double marriage in the newer Donohoe family too. My father's parents were John and Ella Donohoe, who married brothers and sisters of Cleo Cruzan here, sitting in front here with the yellow dress. So my dad and Cleo are double cousins. Her father was Joe, and her mother was Leona Dwyer, and my grandmother was Ella Dwyer. I'm not going to go into all this, but there was another double relation. And also in my own family, I've got 2 Donohue sisters who married 2 brothers whose names are Klein. So it sort of runs in the family. I wasn't going to mention Reagan's name, but as long as a couple of you have.
Don't bother.
Remember when he was running for office the second time, and he went to Ireland to look up his roots, looking for the Irish-American vote, I suppose. And they made a big deal of Reagan's roots in Ireland in County Tipperary. And I thought, well, that was just fine. It must be nice to have somebody to do this for you, because he probably didn't have to do anything. I can say that he's got 1 line back to Tipperary. I've got at least 4. So I've got 3 on him and maybe more. So I also do all my family lines, so someday when I go to Ireland, I'll know just where to go. I don't have to go all over Europe like some people, because all my lines go back to Ireland, and I'm pretty proud of that. I'd like to thank Frank and all the committee for including us in this reunion today. We're all happy to come, and we can appreciate the work that has been done to make this work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary. Nona, are you ready for this? A noted historian, educator, and humanitarian from New York City and Harvard University has informed me by nonverbal communication that somehow I conveyed that the O'Donohoe story was apocryphal, and she has conveyed to me that it is really 100% correct, as chronicled by Mr. Yeats, one of the greatest Irish writers. Nona, did I rectify that previous misconception?
Yes, I think that's fine.
Thank you, Nona. Nona, I did not say it was all apocryphal. I said 50% was. I believe we'll now hear from David Lyons, my nephew, son of Jack and Margaret Lyons from Yankton. David is a well-known local thespian and linguist. He has a special program which I believe will, you will agree, will demonstrate the continuation of the traditions of Ireland. Dave, can you live up to that statement?
I don't know, I guess that's why we're at the bar. Well, I'm in the musical Name out at the Playhouse, and the character I play is Patrick, which is sort of interesting, and he has an aunt who's a real hellraiser. And so I think they must be Irish. And we had an audience Friday night that was really super. It was like 12 or 15 that were all from the USA, and they laughed at everything. And then we had an audience last night who wasn't Irish, and they didn't laugh at anything, with the exception of these 2 in the back, Michael and Nicole. So I thought that I would sing one of my selections, My Best Girl, and sort of taking it out of context and go around to a few of the ladies and serenade them. So my mom's going to accompany me. You're my best girl, and nothing you do is wrong. I'm proud you belong to me. And if a day is rough for me, having you there's enough for me. And if someday when everything turns out wrong, you're through with the human race, come running to me, for you'll always be my best girl.
Thank you, Dave. I am not absolutely sure where we go from here. John Donohoe, do you feel you would like to address us, or would you prefer to pass this other day? Just tell me what you... Very good.
Thanks. My name is John Francis Donohue. I'm son of George Moore Donohue, back with the camera. Hi. This is for Mom. Before I go on, I want to know if my dad's the only one who walked 15 miles in the snow to go to school every day. Yeah, the only thing I've learned about the Donohoes is from my dad and my two uncles. And I've learned that only 90% of it's true. But the thing I really learned about coming out here is like driving down the roads by all the fields and stuff where we used to own. And I noticed that we owned a lot. And what happened? No, but since we do still own a little bit, don't we? No, I just think it'd be good to hold on to something. I mean, this is where we sort of started, right? I mean, I was amazed by coming out here and seeing all these cornfields and stuff, and I mean, as far as the eye could see, and it was ours at one time. 600 acres, something like that. But I think it's sort of sad that we lost it all, but I don't really want to become a farmer, so I'm not really pressing to buy more land. But as long as we have something, you know, it's good. Because, I don't know, it's ours. It was once ours, and we should still have something to remember it by. But it was good coming out here and meeting all these people that I never met before, and, you know, seeing how we all have something alike, like a name that was changed when we came over. No, but you're all nice people that I've met. I mean, everyone's been nice, really good. And thanks. It's been a great reunion.
Well done, John. Thank you. Our program says that others will speak as the Spirit moves them. The spirits indeed have been moving, and the floor is now available to anyone we may have overlooked. I don't know Mary Wadsworth and Jane Sorensen that you have related. No. I take it from the negative shakes of the head that you have not. Is there anyone else? My elderly brother Pat decided that he would not speak. He never does until he's about half smashed.
expect living with 6 girls on never had a chance.
Is there anyone else that would like? Mary, let's hear from you.
In fact, the other day when Frank and a couple of his brothers were discussing something, and I had to stick my nose in and say, he said, Mom, shut up. But I don't think he'll tell me that now. I just want to say how happy I am for this reunion, especially from all the people from Iowa City that I didn't even know were related to me. And I'm so glad to meet you, and I'm so glad you were here, and it's just a great day.
Yes, Eileen, let's hear from you.
The Irish are always there.
The Irish are always fair, as they say. They never have a good word to say about each other.
I thought we said nice things. We've heard the pleasant part of the program, and now for the unpleasant part. There have been a few expenses beyond those which have already been collected. I think they are about $100, and we will have a hat passed among us. A tall hat. And that might, I believe there are about 85 people. If we averaged $1 a person, we would come out all right. However, if that is not the case, we intend to have the hat passer go around twice. The second time, you will have a dog on a leash who will emit a menacing growl. If, by any chance, we should collect more than we need, the excess will go to a worthy local charity. The committee ruled out the IRA for the excess by a very narrow margin. Gene, I don't know if you've made the proper arrangements for the hat passing. If you haven't now, I'm sure you'll do it at a later time. I would like to make several acknowledgments. I would like to thank my wife, Rita. If you will raise your hand and present your pink body over there. I would like to thank you especially for arranging the secretarial duties associated with these affairs today. Since then, Rita and my working secretary have reached a new bond of understanding and what a task it is to respond to my particular style of writing. I would further like to thank my brothers Pat, Jack, and Gene Lyons, and Catherine and Jerry Donohue for assisting me with the arrangements for this affair today. Their address books, their knowledge of family affairs, and their counsel were invaluable.
Oh, boy.
Jerry, did you say that? I hope that you all enjoyed the meal that Jack and Pat Lyons, and perhaps others that I don't know about, arranged for this fine meal today. I hope it's not like the situation where the guy came home from dinner and his wife said, I fixed a special treat, bird nest soup, Strasbourg goose liver pate, pheasant under glass, gooseberry pie to be followed with Napoleon brandy, and Cuban cigars. And he said, thanks, dear, but I had it for lunch today. I should state to you that the gentleman over in the side with the yellow shirt is creating a videotape of this affair today. And the cost of the videotape is covered in the collection that's going on now. However, I assume that Mr. Cheddar will leave his card at the table at the entrance. And if any of you should wish to have your own copy of this, he has told me that if you communicate with him and send him a check for $15, he will give you your very own copy, which I personally am going to do, and I think it is a very good idea. I should further add as kind of a housekeeping item that at approximately 6 o'clock tonight at Happy Jack's, which is just east of here on Highway 50, there will be a dinner to continue the dialogue and anything that anybody wishes to continue with. I think this has been an absolutely marvelous affair, and I hope it will be chronicled. My niece, Susan Lockwood, has taken a few notes. She will probably distribute those notes to others here. And somehow out of this affair, we hope that a 5 or a 10-page statement will be made of this affair. And I have the mailing list of all of you here, and if we can pull this off, I will send you all a copy of this. I believe there are a few favors here over in the corner. Rita or John or anybody, have you been able to glom onto those? And while you're, my mother, Mary Donohoe, Donohue-Lyons has pulled these together. And we were going to have a name drawing, but the first thing we would like to think about is who is the youngest person here today? No, obviously you don't qualify. Who is less than a year old? There is one that's less than a year old. Is there anyone else less than a year old?
What is his pedigree?
Well, the name, please. Teresa is the mother, right? Teresa Donohue, and
This is John Patrick Donohue.
John what?
John Patrick.
John Patrick Donohue. We have an incredible favor that my mother has created. It seems the little fella here, if you squeeze it in the jaws, it opens his mouth, and there's a little piece of candy there. So in just a minute, if you come up here, we will retrieve this. And it seems that there is yet a second one here. Perhaps we could define this winner by saying who came from the farthest distance. Where are you from? Minnesota. Holy cow. Let's boil it down a little bit. Let's say under 10 years old who came from the farthest. There are 2 from Minnesota. How old are you? 8. Anybody under 10 that came from the farthest that is under 10? I think you are the winner, and if you would step up here. Let's see, this is yours, and if you will take this over to Patrick, was it Patrick Michael? John Patrick Donohue. Donohue, I'm sorry. That was called apparently the Great Schism. There was a great schism between Constantinople and Rome, but it appears that this was even a greater schism that is seldom mentioned in the history books.
I wish my head had been shaved.
Thank you. I have about exhausted what I have to say today, but before I put the microphone down and we resume the drinking and going to the bathroom and going swimming and whatever we're going to do, is there anyone else that would like to say something? Ted? A honorary Irishman. Ted, what would you like to have to say to us today? And I hope it is not to recite the license plate number of my father from about 1936.
I think you think that's a joke, but a few years ago I received a letter from one of these outfits in Ohio that said after much research they found that the Blakey clan had come from County Cork, Ireland. So, I have the copy at home if you don't believe it. But I have known the Donohue, Donohoes, and the Lyons for many, many years. Last year, we had the 100th anniversary of our AME church here in Yankton, and the 80th year that the Blakeys had come to Yankton. And I wrote a book, about 40 pages, and on the front it says, the bloodline that will never lose its power. And we were talking about this the other night out at the Happy Jacks, and I would like to present this to the family here today in remembrance of all the fine years of relationship, friendship that we've had. Thank you.
And I accept this in the spirit of the ecumenical movement. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to us? Would you like to say something to us from Minnesota? Thank you. Well, you're welcome. I believe that will conclude the formal affairs today, and let us continue the drinking and the informal talking, and those of you who wish to come to Happy Jack's, do so. Now there is one other small matter of a little singing, and I again suggest that we have a break of a few minutes, and after those few minutes are over, Eileen Donohue, who I understand is an outstanding organist, will present some music, and if we are extremely lucky, those of us who sing will sing the same song that she is playing on the piano. We will resume in, say, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you. Before we get into the Irish songs, Mr. Ted Blakey from, I'm not sure whether it was South Cork or North Africa, but someplace in between, has agreed that he will sing for us Old Man River. Ted, we are honored, and if you would come up here, Eileen will accompany you.
This come as a surprise, but Mrs. Lyons come and asked me if Mrs. Mary Lyons asked me would I sing this, and I'm going to attempt to sing Old Man River. Colored folks were on the Mississippi. Colored folks work while the white folks play. Get no rest from the dawn till sunset. Get no rest till the judgment day. Don't look up and don't look down. You don't dare make that white boss frown. Bend your knees and bow your head and your back until you're dead. Let me go away from the old Missouri. Let me go away from the white man boss. Show me that stream, all the river Jordan. Show me that stream that I long to cross. Old Man River, that old man river, he don't know nothing, he just do nothing, he keeps on rolling, he just keeps rolling along. He don't plant taters, he don't plant cotton, and them that plants them am soon forgotten. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body aching, racked with pain. Lift that barge, tote that bale, get a little drunk, and you'll land in jail. I get weary and sick of trying. I'm tired of living and afraid of dying, but Old Man River, he just keeps
Ed, we've all enjoyed that song that is very well known in South County Carrick. And Eileen, it's yours from now on.
Hear me? I have a good strong voice without a mic, but this is about a fella from County Carrick. And I think I was kind of reminded of that when we were watching Liberty Weekend at times. Back to Donohue.
Just heard from the original Rose and Trolley.
There's another little song I'd like to sing before we get on this sheet. Is that okay? It kind of reminds me of the start of the day. Oh, Miss Gilligan, one fine day, he got a lot of money from the USA. All through the desert of Uncle Joe, who left him $1.5 million. Says, I'll give a call down at the old Central Hall. I'll write to the neighbors near and far. They'll come over in a motor car. Oh, they all went down to make the Gilligan's Ball, where they have to tear the papers off the wall to make room for all of the people in the hall. All the girls and the boys made the devil of a noise and make Gilligan's Ball. Hands, you know, and I have to get it on this too. All right, so we'll all start with some of these song sheets now. You know, if you're Irish, come into the parlor. It's a cute one. My daughters, I think, have gotten home. I don't know if they're going to help you sing this or not. We'll take it slow, and you can all kind of follow.
now she wants to use the songbook. I don't think it's necessary.
Is there an Irish tenor in the room? Because there's not one up here. There's a falsetto tenor up here. I did. Our very skillful pianist will transpose this, and we will have new blood coming up from the new generation. And then these, I know that when Grandma Donohue heard this song, mist appeared in her eyes, which we hope will not in yours. There's a tear in your eye, and I'm wondering why, for it never should be there at home. With such power in your smile, Cherusco you beguile, so there's never a teardrop should fall. When your sweet melting laughter's like some fairy song, and your eyes twinkle bright as can be, you should laugh all the while and all other times smile, and now smile, smile for me. Okay, you all know the rest. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring in the hills of Irish land. got it down one more time. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure is like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world sings bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they'll fill your heart This is the song about the bay, a little bit to the west of West Meath. And it's the last one you'll hear from this band, because they left soon after. If you ever go across the sea to Ireland, then maybe at the closing of your day, you will sit and watch the moon rise over us and see the sun go down on Galway Bay. Just to hear again the ripple of the trout stream, the women in the meadows making hay, just like they're supposed to, and to sit beside a turf fire in the cabin and watch the barefoot gossoons at their play. For the breezes blowing northeast from Ireland are perfumed by the heather as they blow, and the women in the uplands digging ratty potatoes in those regions the strangers do not know. For the strangers come and try to teach us their way. They scorn us just for being what we are, and they might as well go chasing after moonbeams or light a penny candle from a star. And if there is going to be a life hereafter, and somehow I'm sure there's going to be, I will ask my God to let me make my heaven in that dear land across the Irish Sea.
One more song, They Marry on page 1. You know that one? For it was Say
silenced. I don't think I can accompany you, honey. We're props won't be in the same tune. And she's going to play a couple Irish reels. Turkey in the Straw and Irish Washerman. Oh, you know Tree? Oh, Arkansas Travel. Okay. You better go out and I won't accompany you because I might fall down. Okay.
We're going to have a little finale here.
Don't you have Will Milligan somewhere?
Yes, it's on page 9.
I can't find it.
Page 9. Hamilton 22.
The bottom is 9. Oh, that's what we need again.
Okay.
This is a 3-day fest. Yesterday, Mary and Randy were married. Mary and Randy, would you like to stand up? So that was here. Randy, there's Mary. You have a very long, happy life together. Eileen, thank you for that wonderful accompaniment. And I will conclude by saying I am honored to be a member of the O'Donohue family with all of its O's and G's and H's, even if I can't spell it. Thank you for coming. Thank you for participating. And those of you who are going to be going to Happy Jack's, we will see you in exactly 59 minutes. Thank you very much. I heard Jack informed me the bar is still open. Adieu. Is there a separate table at Happy Jack's? Pat informs me there's a separate room at Happy Jack's. Rita, did you have any last statement? Pardon? Susan informs me that the program says 7 at Happy Jack's. However, I think that the program has been revised and is really 6. And that is the last word. Thank you. Goodbye.